What's going on, guys? Your boy King Red Diamonds, and I'm back for another Neo 2 video. Today in this video, I'm going to be going over Underworld, not depths of the Underworld, because a lot of people get those confused. I'm going over Underworld, which is the first stage of Underworld. Depths of the Underworld is the second stages of Underworld, which is the more difficult portion. That I will do a different video for because that warrants its own video, simply because it's different from the regular Underworld. Okay, so before I get into it, I ask you guys like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys so much for all the support. Um, and keep on liking up the videos. Keep on, sharing it with all your friends and all that stuff. Posting it on social, whatever you want to do. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Um, so this video was requested. It was a suggestion from one of my subs. I appreciate. I do like to get suggestions from you all to see what you want to see. Simply because it's not. I'm not gonna be able to come up with everything that you guys want to see. Like if you want to see a specific video tailored towards something that you may want to know about, let me know. I'm always willing to answer back comments. I always respond to every comment. I try my best to respond to every comment at least. And I try to get the content out there that you guys want to see, because that's what I'm here for. So this was a request, so I appreciate that person for requesting this video, and we're going to get right into it now. Right, when you're going to when you're finally thinking about entering the Underworld, this is the pinnacle of this game. This is where all of your skills, your build, everything that you've learned throughout the entire game gets put to the test, because you're going to face every single enemy you've ever fought. You're going to face every single boss you've ever fought. Okay, the difficulty gets harder the higher you go. So I say be prepared whenever you want to go into the depths. Don't think that it's going to be as easy as maybe the main game was. It's going to be a lot tougher. Okay. Secondly, when you go into the depths, not depths, well, Underworld. When you go into Underworld, every single stage is separated by floors. Okay, so as you can see, you start from floor 1, obviously, and you work your way down all the way to floor 108. Okay, so there are a total of 108 floors in regular Underworld. All right, as you can see, if I go up, that's depth. So I'm gonna go over that in a separate video, so don't worry. But you got 108 floors. Every single floor has different enemies. Every single floor has different stages. They do rotate stages, but you won't run the same stage back to back. It'll always be, spent. It'll always be on a cycle. So don't worry about, it being too repetitive. All right. Every single floor has a different boss at the end. Bosses do get repeated because there aren't 108 bosses in this game. There's not that many. So bosses are repeated, but again, they get increasingly harder the higher you go. So you will fight the same boss more than once. Don't worry about that. But again, be prepared for when you go into it. All right. Next, we have the divine ethereal item drop rate percentage right here, where you can give up Choco Cups. Now, you can give up 1 to 10 Choco Cups to increase your drop rate by 1%. Each time you give it a Choco Cup, as you can see, it goes all the way up to 10%. You cannot go higher than that. You can only get up to 10% drop rate. All right. This is very good for farming purposes. It's also very good for just getting item drops in general. Even if you're not farming a grace, just to get item drops, the more frequency you can get them, the better. So make sure that you have enough Choco Cups to use this. Okay. Next, with the Choco Cups, this does not go away. So this buff right here that you get, the 10%, it does not refresh until you leave the Underworld. So every time you progress a stage, you do not have to refresh it. It continues to stay active until you decide you are done with Underworld and you want to leave and come back to the main menu. Once you do that, then you will have to spend more Choco Cups the next time you go into Underworld, if that's what you want to do. Okay. Now, again, I do recommend it simply because it makes farming and getting gear much easier. All right. All right. Cool. So now I'm going to hop into the stage. I'll start obviously from stage 1, because anybody who's just going into Underworld will start from this stage. So I'll start from stage 1, and then I'll show you how to progress through and navigate through the floor and everything that you need to find and all that stuff. Okay. Cool. All right, guys, so this right here is your hub for when you're entering Underworld. As you can see, you got your shrine here for when you want to get your items and stuff together before entering in. And then over here, you have your Underworld merchant. Now, if you take a look at the bottom of my screen where you see a white symbol and you see 585, that is your Underworld currency, which is known as Lapis Lazuli. You earn that from pretty much just going through Underworld. You progress through, you fight enemies, you go through, beat bosses and stuff, and then you'll continue to just accumulate that over time, and then you'll come here to spend it. Okay, so once you come here to spend it, it'll give you all of these different things that you can spend it on. All right. So as you can see from mine, the first one I would spend it on would be the loot plus value modifier. Okay. The loot plus value modifier will pretty much do what it says. It gives you higher base plus values on your loot. Okay. This is where you're going to basically increase the drop rate of items that go all the way up to plus 120, which is the highest plus value you can get on any piece of gear. Okay. So once you max this out, as I have, you'll start earning the highest level plus value on your gear. And as you can see at the bottom on that little box in the bottom, it says if you are outside the underworld, the blessing is effective even when you level sync. And basically, this modifier is going to be effective no matter what. As long as you maximize it, it's going to be active in Underworld. It is going to be active outside of Underworld. So if you're just running random missions and stuff, you're still going to have this buff active. So make sure you max this out. It's very, very useful for farming builds and getting your gear up to the maximum level so you can output the maximum amount of damage. Okay, so this is the first one I will focus on. The next one would be the higher item level drop rate. Again, it's effective outside of Underworld. So once you maximize it in Underworld, it'll be active when you're here and you're active when you're outside. So make sure you get this up. That way you can get your gear from 190, which is the max in Dream of the Nioh, to level 200. Okay. So level 200 is the maximum amount of gear that you want to go for. That's when you know your build is at its, highest potential. Okay. The next one after that we'll focus on will be ethereal drop rate. This will pretty much, again, increase the drop rate of ethereal pieces of gear, which is what you want. You don't want to, continually keep getting divine pieces of gear and then trying to luck up and get rarity level increase and stuff like that. So make sure you dump all your points into this. That way you can get the maximum amount of drop rate for your gear. Okay. Now, everything else, as you can see, you don't really need. I've completed all of the floors of Underworld and all floors of Depths of Underworld. And as you see, I haven't put any of my currency into these simply because they give you very minuscule buffs. Like, they don't give you enough for you to make a true difference to, your enemy. Like, it's not going to increase your strength to the point where you're one-shotting enemies. It's not going to increase your defense to the point where you're tanking. Okay, so, like, and this is not going to increase your, your recovery to the point where you can just, get your health back instantly. It's not going to give you that bigger buff. So I honestly don't think these are necessary to have. Now, if you have leftover Lapis Lazuli after getting your loot plus value modifier, your higher level drop rate, and then your ethereal drop rate, then yeah, you can put points into these simply because you're just, holding on to your currency. So once you have all three of these maxed out, then sure, you can go ahead and pump points into these, but they're not really necessary. Focus on these three and then you'll be good to go. So that's pretty much what he's for. He's very important for pretty much everything build wise in this game. You want to come here and get as much out of him as possible before you take on the rest of the game. Okay, so we're gonna hop into the stage and I'll show you how I progress through and how I will go about navigating through Underworld. All right, guys, so now we're in a stage excuse me, we're in a stage now where this is where you're going to pretty much complete the level. This is the beginning of the level. You start off with your shrine. You can save at the shrine, get your items and stuff together, do whatever you need to do before you go into the stage. Once you go into the stage, there will be a lot of enemies scattered around. There are different paths that you can go, but the number one tell of where you possibly need to go, the number one tell of where you have to go, is to look in your top right corner at your map. You'll see those little lights on the map that are pointing in the direction of your Kodama. Those are the Kodama you need to get in order to get your little stat buffs and stuff before you go into the final boss battle. You don't need to collect all four. There are 4 in each stage. You do not need to collect all 4. You can get one and then just go straight to the boss battle. But for anybody who is, who doesn't have like a high level build, or anybody who isn't completely positive or confident in doing that, I recommend just going ahead and getting all 4, finding all 4 in the stage. That way, not only do you maximize the amount of loot you drop, but you maximize the amount of buffs you get to help you, easier clear the boss. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use what I call my speed running ninjutsu. That's pretty much a sneak thief scroll, a catwalking scroll, and a tiger running scroll. Those 3 scrolls, the sneak thief is going to make me invisible, the catwalking is going to make my footsteps silent, and then the tiger running is going to make me faster. So basically, I'll be able to sneak past enemies, get to the Kodama much quicker, and then I'll pretty much be able to like go to the stages without fighting any enemies. That I only recommend when you're farming a build. Do not use those if you're not farming a build, because you don't want to miss out on certain pieces of gear that'll help you get through that stage. Okay, so I'm gonna speed run through, show you where all the stuff, show you where all the Kodama is, and show you how I will progress and everything. So let's get to it. So first, again, you're gonna follow the little light trails on your map to get to the areas where you want to find your Kodama. Okay, so as you can see, there's a light up here. You can come this way, dodge this enemy. Again, you're gonna run into a lot of these enemies. Okay, so if you're going through this stage, make sure you try to clear out all the enemies. You want to fight every enemy in the stage before you find all your Kodama. So that's one right here, as you can see. So we drop down. We're gonna come this way. We have to sneak past these enemies. Well, obviously the dog's gonna find you. The dogs are the one enemy that's gonna find you whenever you sneak too close to them. Whenever you're too close to the dog, they'll find you. So make sure you're being very careful when you're coming past those. The dogs do find you very quickly. They're dogs; they probably just sniff you out. So when you're sneaking past them, just try to keep your as much distance as possible. Okay, so we have our second Kodama here. Now, again, it does not matter which order you find these in. You can choose any order to find them in. It does not matter. Literally, whatever way you want to go, you go. Don't worry about following a specific order, because they're going to be randomized. You're not going to be able to figure out which specific Kodama is where. You're not going to be able to figure out, okay, this one is the attack one. This one right here is the defense one. So don't worry about that. So this is going to be our third one. And now the fourth one. To wait till I get past him. I had to speed past that guy. I'm gonna take him out first. And our fourth one will be here. So that is all four of your Kodama. Once you've cleared out the entire stage, you've beat all the enemies, you gather all your equipment, and you've gotten your fourth Kodama, this light right here will pop up to tell you to enter the Crucible. All right, so now that we're in the Crucible, this is the area or the stage of this is the area where you're going to fight the boss now. Obviously, they have a shrine here for you to, again, get your gear and stuff together, do whatever, level up, do whatever you need to do here. Boom. Here is pretty much going to be a helper. They're going to pretty much run co-op with you. It's an NPC. They're going to fight with you. It makes fighting the boss easier. A lot of the times, like when you're again early stage, or say if you're under leveled for this certain stage, you can pretty much use them as a shield where the boss enemy will attack them while you know, run off to the side, pop maybe some healing, or pop your ninjutsu or your magic and stuff, and then get back into the fight. So if you want to use them, by all means use them. It's no problem. That's what they're there for. If you don't want to use them, you don't have to. So you don't have to bring them. You can if you want to. Either way, you know, it's going to help you out regardless. Okay. So obviously, once you get into your boss battle, you can pop your ninjutsus or your magic and stuff like that, and then go right into it. All right, so once you've beaten your boss, there are two options you can choose. You can choose to go to the next stage, which will take you to stage 2, or you can come over here and leave and go back to your main menu, okay? So that's pretty much how you go through Underworld. You like again, you that map in the top right corner. It'll be little lights on the map that'll tell you exactly which direction to go in to find your Kodama. So follow that map. Make sure that you're clearing out enemies. Make sure that you're taking out all the enemies in the stage, or as many as you can find. Basically, if you do get lost or the map is too confusing, just explore. Honestly, you don't have to speed through. I only speed through simply because I've already beaten it. You don't have to speed through. You can take your time. So basically, again, just explore, go through, find as much as you can. Don't try to rush it simply because it's a lot to go through. Like you're going to want to take your time, especially for speed running. Because once you get to the point where you can speed run, you'll know exactly where to go, exactly what to do, exactly who to avoid, all that stuff. So that's pretty much just the fast and easy way to go through. So that's pretty much it. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I know that you're probably gonna have some questions, so please, leave me a comment and let me know if you're confused on anything or if you have any questions that may need to be addressed. It's King Red Diamonds, and I'm out.